What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the brand new Bolt Fan Podcast. It's your boy Josh, and I am here today by myself just for the simple fact that we are going to be reacting to a couple of things, because as I've been scouring the internet for things to talk about on the second week of July when there's no training camp, OTAs are over, nothing's happening in the NFL. As I've been scouring the internet looking for stuff to talk about, trying to figure out where we should go, I actually came across some really cool stuff. And I didn't want it to just be like a useless, like, oh, we got to fill time type of episode. So I actually found some really cool stuff. So we're going to be reacting over the next couple weeks to different national media people. I don't want to just give biased Chargers fan takes. I want to hear what the national media is saying about the Chargers. So I've been diving in, looking for it, and I found a few very interesting videos of people talking about the Chargers, talking about Mike McDaniel, talking about Justin Herbert. And so we're going to be reacting to it. And actually, Trevor is going to react at some point on a video that was just put out recently on a very popular podcast. So I'm excited for this. So with that being said, that's what we're doing today. We're diving in to ESPN and NFL Live. They just won a sports Emmy because they're elite at what they do. They did a video talking about the top offenses of this season. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to share this video really fast, and let me make an adjustment to my screen. There we go. We are golden. So we're going to go here. Let me make it full screen because I've learned my lesson because I didn't always do that. So they talk about who the most improved and best offense is going to be in the NFL this year. And Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky rave about the Chargers. So we're going to listen in, and then I'll give my reaction in just a minute. So here we go.
The largest increase in wins last year. These teams really breaking out and having a strong season. Patriots, of course, tied the NFL record with a 10-win increase, and only the Jaguars failed to win at least one playoff game among this group. So this got us thinking about some breakout teams for this upcoming season. Let's turn our attention to that, starting with offenses. So, Mina, which offense in the NFL do you think could break out this year?
I'll take a layup here. The Chargers. I don't know if there's a single person in the NFL who's having a better offseason than Omarion Hampton, their lead running back. Think about his situation now. Hopefully, the offensive line is actually healthy. You get Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt back. I know, knock on wood and all of that. But on top of that, they added Charlie Kolar, blocking tight end, Alec Ingold, heavier bodies, and then perhaps most importantly, one of the best run game designers alive right now in Mike McDaniel. I mean, even last year with the Dolphins and all their struggles on offense, they were still 11th in run DVOA. The way Mike McDaniel uses his personnel groupings and particularly motion to pry open space for his backs is truly special. And now Hampton, who will be spelled by Keaton Mitchell, gets to be the beneficiary of that. If the Chargers' run game is anything less than top 10, it's a huge disappointment.
Yeah, totally.
So I want to pause for a minute and talk about that. So Mina Kimes just came on national television and said, if the Chargers running game is anything less than top 10, it's a disappointment. And I couldn't agree more. And I think you could really make an argument this should be, absolutely needs to be, a top 5 offense running game in the league. She said there's no one having a better offseason than Omarion Hampton. And I, again, completely agree. You've got the tackles back. You've got a coach that runs more motion than anybody in the league. You've got a coach who they brought in Alec Ingold, who is an elite fullback and run blocker. You brought in Charlie Kolar, who is an elite run blocker. And then, oh yeah, by the way, to spell him, you get the explosiveness that is Keaton Mitchell. So, yeah, I think that the running game should be absolutely disgusting. And we should be able to do what Harbaugh said he was coming in to do. And, what would Justin Herbert look like with a great running game? Well, because of the offensive line, we don't know. We've said that, we've said this for 2 years. It's like, we're going to have a running game now because we have Harbaugh. But yet we haven't because Greg Roman's system sucked. And now we have our offensive line back. And Mike McDaniel is about to do something crazy with this team. And I think the biggest benefit is if you look at it and you go, hey, what is Mike McDaniel going to do with this team? I don't think it's going to look as much like Miami as people think. A lot of people are like, well, yeah, look what he did in Miami. Well, in Miami, he had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And that is an explosive speed duo on the outside. That changes the way you play offense. We have fast guys, and we obviously went and got Brennan Thompson, and all of our guys can move, but we don't have the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Well, what did he do? He went back to his Niners days and was like, okay, I've got a good running back. And what did the 49ers always have? Kyle Juszczyk. And what is the first thing we went and got? Alec Ingold. Okay, well, what else did the Niners always have? George Kittle is known as one of the, if not the best run-blocking tight end in all of football. So what did we do? We went out and got Charlie Kolar, one of the best run-blocking tight ends in all of football. And then, what else did the Niners have? Elite left tackle Trent Williams, who was a road grader and athletic enough to get out on zone outside zones. Well, what do we got? On both sides, Slater, we got guys that we can run that left, right, doesn't matter. And so I look back at this Niners offense where it was so creative, and he had Deebo Samuel lining up and doing all the stuff in the backfield and all over the field. And I really just sit here and go, this running game is going to be top 5. And Mina Kimes said, if it's not top 10, it's an absolute disappointment, and she couldn't be more right. So I'm super excited for this, but I wanted y'all to know, everyone's excited about the Mike McDaniel passing game and all the motions and all the quick game and the quick throws, and all that's going to be great, but it's going to be set up by this right here and this running game.
Agree. Number one, I think Gadsden has the chance to be a Pro Bowl caliber tight end in this offense under Mike McDaniel. The two big questions I have, number one, Quentin.
Okay, before we get to his questions, I want to highlight, he just said, just off the cuff, something very incredible for us as Charger fans. This is, again, Dan Orlovsky, former NFL quarterback, yes, most notably known for running out of the back of the end zone, but NFL quarterback, and what does he say? Off the cuff, Oronde Gadsden has an opportunity to be a Pro Bowl level tight end in this offense. So you're telling me now, with everything I just said about the running game, we also might have a Pro Bowl level tight end. And the other tight end that I haven't mentioned yet, I mentioned Kohler, I've mentioned Gadsden now. We also just casually got one of the most savvy veteran elite tight ends, David Njoku. Like, this offense is set up to dominate. Like, there's so many answers to the test. No matter what the defense throws, we will have answers this year. Especially as long as there's no injuries and, like, if we're healthy, like, there's answers all over the field. So, Joe Ortiz, the golf clap for you, sir. It is, we are so excited, man, because this offense looks so good. Like, we are going to go from a bottom 30 offense to a top 10 offense, maybe top 5. And I think it should be top 5. So, I know that sounds probably too bold, but I'm a Chargers fan, I'm biased, and I know it, and that's fine. So, here we go. Dan Orlovsky gave 2 questions, so I want to get to these questions.
Johnston, does he take another step forward? The two big questions I have. Number one, Quentin Johnston. Does he take another step forward, not only in the consistency of catching the football, but working over the middle of the field? We all know that's a huge part of this offense, okay? So he was really good last year, winning the one-on-ones down the perimeter, but can you be the big body over the middle of the field? The second thing, Ladd McConkey, just the way that they use him, getting the ball in his hands, but creating those matchups. And then Justin Herbert, will you throw the ball before the person's open?
Okay, so he had 3 questions. He said I got 2 questions. But I want to give my take on those questions, because I think they're fair questions. Legitimately, I don't think those are unfair criticisms or questions or any of that. My only take is this. If Quentin Johnson doesn't improve over the middle like he's asking, but he does improve even just a half 1% more, half a step, and the outside perimeter stuff, then I think that we've got guys to work over the middle. Now, what he makes the point here is that, they were watching Quentin Johnson in the national title game run deep crossers over the middle for TCU, and we haven't seen much of that in the NFL, and that's true. I do think that that's more scheme and coaching with Brandon Staley, Kellen Moore. That wasn't how they used him, and then Greg Roman didn't really use him that way. So there may be some areas where he can still do it. It just hasn't been exploited. But I do think that where I'm at with it is what if he doesn't get better? I don't think that's really a problem. Because if you're telling me I'm signing up for exactly the same Quentin Johnson we got last season, he doesn't get any better, that's 700 yards and 8 touchdowns. Yeah, I'm good with that. Like, I really think I'm good with that. And the ability to go deep down the field a little bit more often, to be a contested catch guy a little bit, like just be a little better there. Like, those little improvements are enough for me. And so I agree with Orlovsky. I would love to see Quentin Johnson get even better at going over the middle, creating yards after catch. What I said when we got McDaniels was I really believe the most important person here is Quentin Johnson. I think he's going to look like Jalen Waddle by the end of this year. So I think he will get better at that. I think McDaniel will use him better. But even if that doesn't happen, if I'm completely wrong and we get the exact same Quentin Johnson as last year, that's going to be good enough. He was not the problem last year. And a lot of Charger fans still hold his rookie year against him. Last year, he was not the problem. In the last 2 years, he's had 8 touchdowns both of the last 2 years. If you're telling me I'm signing up for a guy who can get in the end zone, I'm signing up. So on that regard, I love that. All he said was, how are they going to use Ladd McConkey? I think it's going to look really similar to his rookie year, out of the slot, work in the middle of the field. His ability to work the middle of the field, Gadsden's ability to work the middle of the field is why I'm not as worried about if Quentin Johnson takes that step. So I think that's just easy enough there. And then the final question, this is where I think he's got a very valid point. Coming from another quarterback, he brings up, can Justin Herbert throw people open? Now, of course, we go, yes, of course he can. But he makes a really good point. So I want to play this and let Orlovsky say it because he says it better.
Because he's so talented and the arm is so strong that sometimes he has waited for guys to separate naturally. That's not necessarily the calling card for that position in this offense. You have to throw the ball to people or areas that aren't open. If he does that, this is going to be one of the, if not the best offenses in football.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love that point
So,
about Herbert anticipation.
my fault. Did not pause it like I thought I did. Okay, so he makes a very, very good point that I think, I assume Mike McDaniels is already, as part of the footwork changes and all the things he's talking about, how to help Herbert in the margins. It sounds like Orlovsky's saying some similar stuff to what McDaniels saying. So let me give some context to this. All right, for those of y'all who don't know, much about me, I don't share a lot of this. I played college baseball, and some of the things that I found playing college sports is there's so many guys that are so talented, they don't do the things that less talented people have to do. And so I remember that my freshman year of college, we had a shortstop come in, and it was a Venezuelan shortstop. And he just had the most effortless, high-level arm talent I've seen from a middle infield, maybe in my life. And it was just like, he was just so good. He could throw from any angle. It was throwing 90 miles an hour. There was a day I went out to go play catch with him. And again, this is just, we're just out playing catch. We're college baseball players. This is something that's like routine, easy stuff. And so there were things that because I was not the most talented, I wasn't the biggest and strongest guy, I focused on so many details. So my catch was like precise, and I was working on stuff, and I was trying to get better, and I was trying to learn how to make sure I don't miss my target. Like, I would literally be upset by missing my target by 6 inches. I wanted to be so deadly accurate because I didn't have the arm strength to just get away with stuff. Well, I'm playing catch with this dude, and he's so talented. Like I said, just this Venezuelan shortstop, and anyone who knows baseball, man, like these Latin American players are just, there's some of these guys are just so elite. And he was effortless. And we're just playing catch, and we're throwing. We're out on the school football field. And so I'm standing at the end zone, and we're throwing, and he keeps backing up. And we're going, get 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards. And I'm like, all right, I'm airing it out, and I'm feeling good. And I'm throwing, 60 yards, 180 feet, feeling good about that. And I'm hitting him in the chest, and I'm accurate there. I'm like, this is great. And I'm watching him, and he's just literally like dropping down and kind of sidearm flinging it and hitting me in the chest. Never missed. The dude was deadly accurate and just like, flick of the wrist, bang. Here I am putting everything, 180 feet. He backs up, and he keeps going. I'm like, man, are we going to come back in? Like, I'm working. And so I'm breaking a full sweat. I'm pouring, sweat out of my body. Like, I'm dehydrated. I'm like, what is going on? I came out here to just play catch and on our off day, just get a little arm care stuff. And he's going back further. Next thing I know, this dude, thank God it was a turf field. This dude gets back to the opposite 10-yard line. And I'm like, brother, we are throwing 90 yards. And I'm like two-hopping it to him. And I'm like, forget accuracy. I can't get the ball there anymore. And I'm putting everything into it. It's two-hop. And he literally stands there, just flick of the wrist. Does not even crow hop, just stands there. One step and hits me in the chest. And I'm like, what in the world? This dude's superhuman. While I'm standing there struggling, I know I'm giving a little bit of a long-winded story, but it'll make sense. I'm standing there struggling, and all of a sudden, this dude goes back to the other end zone. And he goes to instead of going to the goal line, goes to the back of the end zone. So now we're at 110 yards. And I'm like, bro, this is insane. I literally am like, I'm throwing it now, and the ball's rolling to him, and he's just picking it up. And now he's finally starting to, like, crow hop a little, hits me in the chest. I'm like, bro, what is going on? And so I say that to say, my favorite part of the story is from the opposite side. He goes, hey, mi amigo, back up. And I'm like, bro, what? So he makes me back up 10 more yards. And I'm now back line of the end zone. And at that point, he finally short hopped me. And I was like, bro, this dude's insane. Needless to say, I never played catch with him ever again because I wasn't good enough to play catch with him. But guys like that who have this crazy talent. Now, don't get me wrong. This dude, he worked his butt off. He was a hard worker, and I loved his name was Jose, and I love him to this day. But Jose was so talented, man, that the first part of that, he's just flick of the wrist. And so some of these guys with that kind of arm talent, so what he's saying about Herbert is his arm is so strong, he lets guys, where a guy like Brock Purdy or Tua, they have to throw with anticipation because they didn't have the arm talent. I was that guy who had a good arm but never that level, so I had to throw with anticipation of when is the guy going to get there. So that's what I kind of related to it as a baseball guy. It's a little different than football, but I say that to say this. Herbert is letting guys get open, and this is the big criticism. He lets guys get open, and then he just throws it a little bit harder than a guy like Brock Purdy, so that way the ball still gets there at the same time. Which he's obviously made it work. He's got more passing yards through 6 years than anybody in NFL history. What they're saying is if he wants to get to the next level, he'll have that arm talent and throw with the anticipation of a Brock Purdy, and now you're looking at a guy who's got the talent level to become one of the all-time greats. So this is like the final step in the evolution of a Justin Herbert, and it takes an offensive guru like Mike McDaniel to bring it out of him. And if he does, you are literally looking at Peyton Manning. You are literally looking at Dan Marino. You're looking at John Elway. That's the type of class Herbert can propel himself to. Now, we're a long way from there. We got to get a playoff win before we can really say that he's going to be those guys. But what I'm telling you is he's on this track of there's like, man, he's this close. And if he gets this one thing that Orlovsky's talking about, I fully agree. Now, he's going to be a great quarterback even if he doesn't develop this. But, man, I literally think we're this close to having Peyton Manning as our quarterback. That's what I think. 4.3 biology major. He's plenty smart enough up here. Sometimes that's his problem is he's got to overthink it and see somebody get open before he makes the throw. If he learns to throw with the anticipation that Tua had, with the arm talent and athletic ability that Herbert already possesses, that those guys will never have, he can literally be one of the all-time greats. And that's what we're looking at as Charger fans. That sounds like multiple Super Bowls and a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I genuinely believe we can get there. And from the sounds of it, Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky agree. So let's watch the last couple bits of this video, and then we'll call it.
Troy throws, because I think it all ties together. That is what will unlock the yards after the catch that really this group is built to achieve. You talked about Quentin Johnson. I remember watching him in college, all of us together in Bristol in the playoffs, and him on those crossers just pulling away. But he is incredibly fast at his size. Can that be a part of this offense? Ladd McConkey, is also fast, but he's also very tough. He can get you tough yards after the catch, working over the middle of the field, the way we have seen so many receivers do with Mike McDaniel. This truly has the potential to be a special offense with him, and I like how all the pieces come together.
Yeah, Mina, 85% of Ladd McConkey's career targets have had more than a yard of separation, so not a tight window. Pretty cool to see what he could potentially do as well. All right, so that's that. Dan, who is...
All right, so from that point, they get into talking about how Dan Orlovsky likes the 49ers offense. Or, I'm sorry, not the 49ers, the Commanders offense. Got me thinking about Ayuk and shifting teams. But, so that's the bottom line. That's the main thing, is those are the big points that they brought up, and I actually agree with a lot of it. Like, if Quentin Johnson just adds a little bit to this over-the-middle ability, this offense gets elite. Amarian Hampton, he's going to have, our running game, it's going to be better. I just don't know what to tell you. There's no ifs about it. It's going to be better. How much better depends on injuries, depends on a lot of things. But I believe this offense is 100% going to be better in the running game. And if you get inches of growth from Justin Herbert in his anticipation, if you get inches of growth from Quentin Johnson getting over the middle, if you get inches of growth, I'm sure there's things with McConkey, but I think the biggest thing for Ladd is getting Keenan out of his way and him having the ability to just be the slot guy every play, rather than rotating to the outside while Keenan goes inside and then flip-flopping. Like, that was a mess. And I remember all of us talking about it before when we signed Keenan Allen. I was like, that's not going to work. He's too redundant with McConkey. And guess what? Ladd's numbers fell off a cliff from his rookie year. I think you're going to get that rookie year Ladd and maybe even better in this offense. So the inches of growth means if you just look at those guys, Hampton should have more yards, which I forget what he had last year, but if he jumps to 800 yards for the year, that's growth, and the offense gets better. If Quentin Johnson goes from 700 yards to 1,000 yards because he learns to go over the middle a little bit more and open up another part of his game, that's growth. This offense gets better. If McConkey just gets back to rookie year McConkey and goes for 1,100 yards, well, that's 400 yards more of growth, and you're going to have more touchdowns mixed in with all those extra yards. I just gave you easily 1,200 extra yards that we could have gained just by having McDaniel in here instead of Greg Roman. And think about how crazy that is. If you get an extra 400 from Hampton, which is very doable, you get an extra 400 from McConkey, you get an extra 400 from QJ, you just gained 1,200 more yards. Well, that means your quarterback just went from throwing for, 3,800 yards or 42, whatever Herbert threw, to now throwing for over 5,000 yards. If he was 42, I forget, I'd have to look it up for what he was last year. Let's just say he throws for 4,500 yards. You're looking at an MVP quarterback. And you're looking at Pro Bowl receivers. And you're looking at a Pro Bowl running back. And, Arondé Gadsden can go from 600 yards to 800 yards and a couple extra touchdowns. Like, there's easy to find growth. We replaced Will Dissly and Tucker Fisk with David Njoku. That sounds like 500 extra yards. Like, I'm just sitting here going, like, there's yards to be had because of the improvements we've made. And I'm not the only one seeing it. Charger fans, we are not being biased. The national media agrees. This team has no business not being a top 5 offense in the NFL. There's a good chance the defense falls off with losing some guys and losing Jesse Minter and going to Chris O'Leary. The defense might take a step back, but this offense is going to pick up the slack. We are going to be a very different team next year, and it is going to be an explosive and fun brand of football to watch. So, y'all should be excited. I'm building the hype up a little bit right now, but I'm so hyped. I mean it. I'm not it's not just hype. I'm hyped up, and I want to hype you guys up, but it's not just hype because I don't think we're going to get hyped up and let down. This is not a Chargers are going to Charger situation. The tables have turned. We have one of the best coaching staffs in football. Mike McDaniel, Jim Harbaugh are going to lead us to a top 5 offense this year, and it is going to be so fun for us as fans. So, with that being said, you want to hear all the content. You want to make sure you hear all this great stuff and hear about the explosive offense. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, Give us a comment. All that stuff helps us out, but especially the subscriptions helps the algorithm. It means the world to us. We love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. And bolt up. We will see y'all very, very soon. Next month, we get to cover real football, baby. So, August is coming. Training camp's on the way. Make sure to subscribe. Don't miss it. We'll be covering all of it. Thank you for tuning in. Love y'all.